All right, let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, thank you all for joining today for this webinar as we cover kind of authoritative airspace, our geo portal, and some of our custom airspace. See several familiar names in here. Thank you guys for joining today. We got this set for about an hour today. I don't know that we're going to eat up all of the time, but we'll definitely be sure to save time at the end for any questions you guys may have, and hopefully get you squared away with all the information you need. Couple of housekeeping things before we get started. The chat is open. The Q&A section is open. Please feel free to post anything in the chat, post anything in Q&A. I will do my best to get back and forth between the chat and the Q&A as we kind of go through everything. What I am going to do now, I'm sharing my screen. I'm going to turn off my video so that we can all focus here. Everybody should be seeing the slide deck now. And we will go ahead and get started here. So again, today's topic that we're going to be covering is authoritative airspace, so serving state, local, and government and public safety through the use of our geoportal and our custom airspace functionality. So first and foremost, we're going to go through some introductions. We'll talk through Aloft, talk through geoportal, talk through the custom airspace functionality, and then we'll wrap everything up with a Q&A. So my name is Joshua Pruitt. I am the Director of Partnerships and Strategic Initiatives here at Aloft. I have been in the public safety UAS space for about a decade now. I've worked with several of you in a past life. Several of you I continue relationships with from my new role here at Aloft. Again, spent the past 10 years working in public safety, numerous deployments, hundreds of agencies trained around the country. Just really, really excited to be with you guys here today and talk through some of this functionality. So first and foremost, what is Aloft? A lot of people out there, and I'm certain a lot of people on this call, and they think Aloft, they either think Kitty Hawk and they think Lance. And so since joining the Aloft team earlier this year, it has been my goal to get the industry to understand that Aloft is so much more than just Lance. And so really, we're a full suite of secure software solutions designed for program and operational management and support across public safety, critical infrastructure, and enterprise fleet type operations. We also have some solutions for DSPs or drone service providers, as well as recreational flyers. So in the Aloft ecosystem, if you will, we're the #1 approved airspace supplier of Lance, where we average about 84% of Lance authorizations flowing through our platform. We also provide SGIs for public safety. We're the only software platform that has an automated SGI functionality built in. And then we have some pretty cool unmanned traffic management or UTM tools that we've been working on for quite a long time. But we're seeing 1.5 million monthly airspace events through our airspace map, 24,000 monthly flight hours tracked through our system, and 110,000 monthly flight briefings handled in our platform. Again, there's multiple pieces of the platform that all roll up to kind of become this turnkey solution for enterprise and for public safety. But today, what we're going to be focusing on is the geo portal and our custom airspace functionality. So let's go ahead and dive into the geo portal. So the geo portal is a piece of the platform that's going to enable verified accounts to publish safety advisories across the Aloft data network, including before you fly. So let's unpack this. Verified accounts. These are going to be accounts belonging to federal, state, local government, verified public safety entities, or similar type groups that we feel have the authority to post these types of advisories. Now, many of you will remember, several years back when the FAA overhauled Before You Fly, that was something that the Aloft team took on. Now there are multiple Before You Fly providers, but understand that any of these advisories or warnings that you post in the geo portal are seen across Before You Fly, across the entire Aloft data network. So that's going to be Aloft Air Control. That's going to be our Air Aware solution for recreational flyers. And then that's also going to be the Before You Fly network. We have a ton of state, federal, local partners that are using this platform on a day-to-day basis, from the Civil Air Patrol uh, to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, multiple DOTs. The FAA, in fact, uses our system, FDNY. Again, multiple agencies out there already using this functionality. But again, for me coming on board, this was a piece of the platform I did not know existed. And coming from a public safety background, I think that this is an incredible tool for public safety. And you can see there we've covered over 10 million square kilometers of data that we've published through the Aloft Geo portal. So let's ask some questions here. So myth or fact? The FAA publishes airspace restrictions for events. This could be large sporting events. This can be concerts, anything. It's actually a myth. So if we look to this documentation, are there airspace restrictions for events? And this is kind of a gray area. It's kind of a yes and no. So under certain circumstances, this is a 2015 PDF from the FAA. You can outline, again, what of those restrictions are going to be levied at different times. And again, none of this is directly posted to a singular source. And that's why we've wanted to make this a lot simpler with the Geo portal. So all that's not covered in this. So pursuant to 14 CFR section 99.7, special security instructions commencing 1 hour before the time of the event or until 1 hour after the time of event, all aircraft, including parachute jumping, unmanned, and remote controlled aircraft, are prohibited within a 3 nautical mile radius up to and including 3,000-foot AGL or any stadium having a seating capacity of more than 30,000 people for regular postseason Major League Baseball, National Football, NCAA Division I football games. This NOTAM also applies to NASCAR, IndyCar, Champ Series racing, excluding qualifying pre-race events. So there's a lot of different boxes that have to be checked in order for the FAA to put up any sort of advisory. With the Geo portal, we're going to show all of that because you're not going to necessarily see this on a map. So, for example, this is Soldier Field for a Bears game on Monday Night Football. It looks like, we're clear for takeoff, but we all know, it's a massive football game. They have a massive stadium. This is probably going to, activate that TFR without much indication. So why Aloft Geo? Again, going back to that last slide, if it's not on the map, it's incredibly hard to comply. And again, most recreational flyers, most singular drone service providers are using Air Aware, are using Before You Fly to look for this type of information. I like to believe that more often than not, recreational flyers and general drone service providers, they want to do things the right way. But if we're not giving them a solid source of information, things can definitely fall through the cracks. So this was an article from back in 2022 where LA Fire teamed up with the FBI to crack down on illegal drones flying too close to fires. Again, with so many public safety folks represented on this call, you can understand how the general public can impede on firefighting operations, impede on life-saving operations, simply trying to get a picture or a video. So what the Aloft Geo portal allows is, again, for government users, law enforcement, state, federal, local folks to publish safety advisories, whether those are permanent, whether those are temporary advisories, whether those are schedule advisories that are then going to be seen in Before You Fly and in Air Aware. So across multiple sources. So critical safety info, and it's visible across multiple platforms. So what you can see here, we see a hurricane recovery advisory that was posted. This is another one from back in 2022. Again, not necessarily a restriction, but more of just a, hey, use caution. This is an advisory. This is a recommendation to not fly in this area, to not interfere with law enforcement, with emergency operations. Again, not a true restriction, but again, something that can be published very quickly. So some of the use cases we have today, and I want you to start thinking about this as you can potentially incorporate geo into your workflows. So public events, not necessarily sporting events, could be concerts, could be music festivals, could be large parades, 4th of July celebrations, other special events where drone rules may come into effect, firefighting and related aircraft type operations that aren't necessarily part of a TFR, areas or operations where local regulations are relevant for compliant drone flight, such as takeoff and landing restrictions. And again, it's important to remember that these are both permanent and temporary type advisories. So before we jump in kind of to the workflow of the Geo portal, are there any questions so far over what we've discussed? Again, the chat is open. I can allow you guys to unmute yourselves as well. Um, Questions, comments, concerns, feedback before we move on here and actually dive into the Geo portal. All right, we'll keep it moving. So what you were looking at, guys, this is the main landing page for the Aloft Geo portal. I think I need to mention that for all public safety verified government entities, whether that's state, federal, or local, this is a free tool that is available to you. There's no charge for using the Aloft Geo portal whatsoever. You can simply go to geo.aloft.com, and the first thing you'll have to do is sign up for an account. We will then verify a few things on our end to confirm you are who you say you are, representing the agency that you say you are. We may reach out to you for additional documentation. It typically takes us about 24 hours to approve you for GeoPortal use. But once you have access, this is something that can be done on the web. Can also be done on a mobile device, but it is optimized for the web. So I'm going to go ahead real quick. I'm going to back out of this screen and I'm going to hop over into Geo. I just want to make sure everybody can see my screen here. Just make sure. Okay, yep, we are sharing the right screen. So I'm going to real quickly sign in. And this is where we land. We see some information about my account, email, my organization, that this is a verified account. And then you can see any advisories that have been posted. So for example, this is the city of Duluth where I live. If I click on this, you get some basic information. No takeoff or landing on city Duluth property in downtown and town green area. This is a takeoff or landing restriction. If there was a link to the official rule, we'd put that here. But then as I scroll down, you can see this on the map. This is the area that I have outlined. So real quick, if I jump over into the Aloft air control platform, and again, this will be viewed on the web or in the air control mobile application, you can see this area outlined in red here in Duluth. See City of Duluth, click more, get all the information. No takeoff or landing in downtown Duluth property. If you guys are in Air Aware or use air control, if you were to log in and go to Duluth, Georgia right now, you would see this. So very quick to publish a notice. But let's back over into the portal real quick and I'll show you guys how this works. So very, very simple. Click Add Advisory. I'm going to get a little bit of a little pop-up here. Give it a title. Post some details. What type of advisory is this? Is this a restriction? Is this some type of awareness? Is this a takeoff and landing restriction? And then you have some options here. This can be, clear, caution, or restricted. This will all determine how it's viewed on the map. And then let's say you are in fact posting a takeoff or landing restriction that you can reference a specific city ordinance or specific code. You can paste the link to that official rule here and provide some contact information should you choose. Scrolling a little bit further down, you can see can be made a permanent advisory or this can be scheduled as just a simple temporary notice or alert. A little bit further as we scroll down, you can see we can very easily input an address or input coordinates. You also have the ability to upload KMLs or KMZs, or we can also accept GeoJSONs as well. Now, if none of those work for what you need, or maybe you just don't have it in any of those formats, you also have the ability right here as we get into the map and snap down to Duluth. We have a couple of options. We can, let's just expand this actually. So we can use, let me back up here, sorry. Oh, that's what I did. Okay. So we have a couple of tools here to use. So this is a very simple circle. Let me zoom down here in the Carter's Lake. So we can draw a circle on the map, or we can very easily switch to a square, or we have the ability to create polygons. Or again, you can upload all of this through a JSON, through a KML, through a KMZ. We are working on the ability to ingest other formats as well, but you get all the information in that you want. Click Save. You will see all of this information then pop up. It will show that it is active. It will show that it is, yes, published. Again, can very easily be clicked on. You can see your area. And then if we hop over into air control on the web, we can also see this information here. So this is also published to the B4UFLY app. This is also published to Air Aware from Aloft. We see this in air control, and we will see this in the B4UFLY network. So again, a lot of redundancy to give information to participants and non-participants alike, just to make people more aware of their airspace and their surroundings. Again, pretty simple workflow. I think this is an incredibly powerful tool for public safety and government. While I'm jumping back over to the slide deck, are there any questions specifically on the GeoPortal? Again, feel free to raise your hand. I can unmute any of you if I need to. But again, I feel like it's a fairly straightforward and easy tool to use. It looks like we don't have any questions, so I'm going to move into now talking about our custom airspace functionality. So if the GeoPortal is for agencies to post information to the general public, our custom airspace functionality allows you to privately post relevant information to just your organization, to your airspace. It's going to appear on your operations map in air control, whether that's on the web or whether that's in the mobile application. So it's only going to be visible to your pilots, your operators, and your admin. So again, Geo is kind of like, let's make this out and aware for everyone. And the custom airspace is specific just to your account, your team. So examples of this usage. Maybe you want to take the GeoJSON, the KML, or the KMZ from your COA, your jurisdictional COA, and you want to have that displayed on your map. Very simple process to upload that JSON, to upload that KML, that KMZ, and now that is going to be displayed to your pilots and to your admins, to any of your operators and users on your account. A new kind of cow that's been floating around out there lately is the ability for public safety to have the FAA facility grid squares updated. And so to me, it makes total sense to, hey, we had our grid squares raised. The general public can only access this at 100 feet, but we have the ability to go to 200 or 250 feet. Wouldn't you want that displayed in your map as opposed to the standard facility grids? So another very simple use case for that as well. Airspace awareness for your operators. You can use this to define continuous areas of operations for, say, things like SAR, and have pilots assigned to searching specific areas based on the information you put in via the custom airspace. You can define your training areas or anything else within your response area that you feel like your pilots need to see on the map. This can be used for airspace deconfliction, and then some of the big words now in public safety are BVLOS, DFR, real-time crime center type ops. Now you can define your operational boundaries for this as well. And now to unpack this a little bit, we've had some agencies that are like, we just want our pilots to see this, but there are other agencies, mainly on the West Coast, that want the general public to be aware of their operating area. So You could also define your operational boundaries using the geoportal as well, and that would be something that was more aware and available to the general public. Uh, so this is an example here of a specific COA for KSBY. We overlaid that COA into their custom airspace, and you see they have a pop-up that gives them some information. Hey, simply contact dispatch prior to launch. Um, so any information on your COA, again, if you have very complex airspace in your area, maybe each facility is going to have different requirements for what they want you to do. All of that can be overlaid here using the custom airspace functionality. This next one I'm going to show you, this is actually a BVLOS corridor for New Air up in upstate New York. So again, just defining the operational boundary of their BVLOS operations. Not only is this something that their pilots can see, this is something that New Air has chosen to make public as well. Again, for that better situational awareness for non-participants, just to understand that, hey, if they're flying in this area, they may see some additional traffic as this is a massive testing corridor up in New York. So GeoPortal was a fairly simple workflow. I want to hop over now and kind of show you what the custom airspace workflow looks like as well. So I'm going to hop out of this screen. I'm going to hop over into my air control account. By default, we always are going to land at the airspace map. I think it's worth mentioning that we have the most comprehensive airspace map that exists in the industry. Again, having worked in the industry for a long time, I say that with a very, very high degree of confidence. You can see several different base maps that are available to you, as well as different air traffic layers. So the really cool thing about this is we can see upcoming LANC authorizations. We can see the notify and fly functionality, which is something that we've made available to drone service providers and recreational users. Think of notify and fly as the NOTAM functionality that used to exist for the general public. This is a very simple function that allows a pop-up to appear on the map to show an agency or a municipality that, hey, there's someone flying in this general area. This is something that can also be available for LANC as well. Again, the fact that we process around 84% of LANC authorizations, you can imagine the value in being able to display this in your real-time crime center as an even deeper level of situational awareness for any type of remote or BVLOS operations. So while this isn't necessarily custom airspace, this is just a piece that I did want to hit on that is available. As we go down further, we get into our national airspace layers, local advisories. So this is things coming from the geo portal or additional sources that we surface here. And then custom airspace. Again, this is going to be specific to your account. So you can see we've brought in several different systems here, county boundaries for Caltrans, some of the Caltrans districts, state highway bridges, local bridges. Again, this will all be different depending on the type of information you ingest, and you have the ability to go through and set all the defaults here. I'm going to close out of this map. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over to the right-hand side. You can see very easy to get LANC, plan a mission. I'm going to click layer. And you can see very similar pop-up to what we saw on the GeoPortal workflow. We can very easily search for an address, search for a set of coordinates. We can give this a name. We also, again, accept KMLs, KMZs, or GeoJSONs. Using the polygon tool, we can just draw something on the map. As we scroll down, get some information on our fill color, our line color, start date time, end date time. Do we want is this, hey, are we notifying our pilots that, hey, this is a restricted area, you shouldn't necessarily be flying. This is a caution area, this is a clear area. Imagine using this to mark things on the map, like aerial obstruction, serious power line setups, anything like that. You also have the ability to link any types of files or documentation that is relevant to, whatever airspace you are trying to denote to your pilots. There's also a pretty in-depth how-to video that Kevin Teen put together. Kevin Teen is our in-house senior customer success manager, as well as our platform expert. I've worked with Kevin a very, very long time. He is an absolutely solid resource. That is a great video there on how to use custom airspace. But again, a fairly simple workflow. Once we hit add, you can see it'll pop up over here. We come down, I'm going to hop over into custom airspace and we can see all of the different things that we have ingested. So a lot of stuff for New Air. The Walt Disney World Resort, if we click on that, we can see their specific no-fly zone, NFZ, if you will, that they somehow got approved by the FAA. This is restricted airspace. It's wild to me that Disney World is classified as national defense airspace. Uh, I don't know that we're going to unpack that one today, but I've always found that to be incredibly interesting. But we can also jump over into looking at, here's a specific COA that I gave an example of in the slide deck here. New Air's BV loss waiver and the corridor that supports. Again, this is a massive, I believe it's almost 200-mile corridor for BV loss testing in upstate New York. New Air is a large partner of ours. Pretty excited to showcase some of this. We'll close this one out. Let's see. I believe this is the other. Okay, no, this is just a stay clear area. This probably is just a test here. We got a private land use agreement. Again, all sorts of information that can be surfaced here. You got John Gustafson's 240 square miles of waivered airspace. Absolutely incredible what New Air is doing up there. Really, really excited to have them on board as a partner. But just no limit to the type of information you can be displaying to your pilots, displaying to your operators, displaying to your company, your organization. I believe that the GeoPortal is immensely valuable to every public safety agency out there. And then those that are using the air control platform also gain access to the custom airspace functionality that you guys see here. This is a piece of the platform that is limited to enterprise users of the air control software suite. But again, the GeoPortal functionality is something that is available to anyone and everyone from verified public safety or government entities. It is a free service we provide, very easy to register for, and something I believe is incredibly, incredibly valuable for all public safety operations. I'm going to jump back over to my deck here. We've looked at the workflow right at 12:30, which is exactly the timing that I wanted for this. Now I want to open it up to you guys. Not a very big crowd today, unfortunately, but I do want to open it up for any questions, comments, concerns, feedback. These can be related to the Aloft GeoPortal. This can be related to custom airspace functionality, or this can also be just general questions around the Aloft platform. Again, you all have the ability to put your hands up. The chat is also open. The Q&A section is open as well. So I will open the floor up to you guys for any questions, comments, concerns. How do I do this? How do I do that? Let's address those now. We'll hang on for just a couple minutes here to make sure I address any questions, and then I will probably give you guys back a decent chunk of time. Let's do the list here. Again, for anyone that has questions on the GeoPortal, we can walk through that one more time. It's very simple, geo.aloft.ai. Very simple to register. Let's see, John Gustafson and Mr. Ballesteri, yes, we will have a recording of this webinar available once we wrap up today. I will make sure that everyone gets a copy of that as well. And John Gustafson, can you show importing KMLs, KMZs again, please? Yes, for sure. So first and foremost, I will show it in the GeoPortal. We simply come up, add advisory. We can fill in all these fields. but very easily can scroll down. Very simple, click upload. I do not believe that I have any KMLs or KMZs saved right now. I do not. Um, but again, KML, KMZ, select the file, click upload. Um, and then you also, again, have the ability to paste the GeoJSON there as well. I am pushing very heavily for additional file types. I would like to be able to pull in GeoPDFs, GeoTIFFs, Mapbox tiles, things like that. Hopefully, that's something we'll see around Q1 of next year. But at least for now, KMLs, KMZs, and those GeoJSONs have done a really good job for the majority of our customers. Uh, but John, it's also the same functionality if we hop over into air control, add a custom layer here. If we again same upload process. .zip.kml or .geojson. You can also just paste the GeoJSON here as well, or utilizing the tools for polygon, for squares, for circles. Uh, Again, you can come down here, click this link, and check out Kevin's pretty incredible video on really going in depth in this process. To me, it's a fairly simple workflow. But I would encourage all of you to sign up for GeoPortal Access, those of you that represent public safety agencies, those of you that represent government agencies. I see several of our partners and strategic partners on the call today. More than happy to give you guys access so that you can demo this to other agencies, to potential customers, to the end user. Again, I think this is an incredibly, incredibly valuable tool and one that we make freely available to all public safety that wants to use it. I am not seeing any other questions. We'll give it just another minute or so. Again, feel free to raise your hand. I can allow you to unmute if you want to talk. If you don't want to talk, we have the Q&A section is open. We also have the webinar chat. We'll give this just another couple minutes, and then I will start saying my goodbyes here. I'm going to throw one last slide up. Um, if you want more information on the GeoPortal, you want a little bit more information about the Aloft air control platform, if we need to get you set up for a demo or a trial account, so you can see what we bring to the table with air control, please don't hesitate to reach out to sales@aloft.ai. You can also reach me directly, Joshua@aloft.ai. Most of you on the call, I believe, have my phone number. You can feel free to reach out to me direct at any time as well. You can also scan this QR code, and we will get you set up with a trial of air control so that you can see, the suite of tools that we bring to the table for public safety, whether that's the administrative side of the house, the operations side of the house, or our boots on the ground, our pilots in the field. I truly believe we are an awesome option and another turnkey solution for public safety type operations. So with that being said, I don't see any more questions. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I want to thank all of you for your time and joining in today. I really appreciate those of you that registered. I will be sending out the recording of this webinar more than likely tomorrow. We'll be announcing our next webinar sometime in the next couple weeks. I hope you guys are able to tune back in. If you're on shift today, please stay safe. If you're enjoying a day off, please enjoy that. And we will see you again sometime very soon. I appreciate all your time, guys. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.